CNBC's coverage of International Corporate Philanthropy Day continues, and we turn the spotlight now on Eli Lilly, consistently ranked among the world's top companies in corporate donations, most recently its efforts in Haiti. We'll talk about that in just a moment, but first, big news over the weekend on Glaxo's diabetes drug Avandia, and Lilly is also a big player in that space. So in a CNBC exclusive on the implications for its business and many other things, Chairman and CEO John Lechleiter, along with CNBC's pharmaceuticals reporter Mike Huckman, joins us. Mr. Lechleiter, nice to have you here.
Nice to be here. And
we do want to talk about your company's extraordinary record of giving on a global basis in just a moment, but we'd be remiss if we didn't start with the breaking news over the weekend concerning Avandia. What are the implications to your company, because you do have a big footprint in that particular space?
Well, I'm not familiar with the details of the Avandia story. Certainly, this has been something that's been discussed the last several years. I think the bottom line is we're going to continue to need new medicines in the area of diabetes. It's a global epidemic, unfortunately. Also, I think this underscores the importance of transparency. People have to be able to trust our companies and our industry. Lilly has been proud to lead much of that effort through the disclosure of our clinical trials, which we announced in 2004, all the way to the recent announcements about payments to physicians, being clear and open about that.
Yeah, but John, this is Mike Huckman. The Senate investigation in its report actually mentions your company's name as one of the handful of major drug companies that has been fined billions of dollars in recent years for false promotion of drugs, for uses that they're not approved for.
Mike, we've discussed that in the past, and we've been very clear and apologized for those actions. I think my concern as Lilly's CEO now for just under 2 years is to move the company forward and to ensure that in our actions going forward we can be considered completely reliable and trustworthy.
But could this brouhaha over the heart risk associated allegedly with Avandia cause the FDA to delay a decision on whether to approve your first ever once-a-week drug for diabetes, a reformulation of your twice-a-day Byetta? That decision's expected by March 5th, and some analysts on the street are saying because of this, the FDA might be a little gun-shy.
Mike, that's probably a little bit of an overreaction. Certainly the FDA in the past several years has been very concerned, rightly so, with getting the balance of benefit and risk in any medicine that they approve. I'm confident that they'll look on the exenatide once-weekly application on its merits. As you know, it's a 10-month standard review. We can't say for sure if that review is going to be completed on time, but we're still hopeful.
What is your stance on the new FDA? It seems to be a much tougher FDA, maybe harder on new drug applications, maybe quicker to pull the trigger on a recall. They'll recall a product with several hundred cases of questions when it's treated several million patients. What do you think of the FDA today?
Commissioner Hamburg has said since her arrival at the FDA that she is going to strengthen FDA enforcement. We're fine with that. We're in favor of that. The FDA has to have teeth in order to do its job. At the same time, we're working with FDA to try to improve the mechanics around the drug review process. We believe new drugs are needed and necessary. We want to make sure that the FDA is able to do that job well, work with us closely, and meet these important timelines.
And when a recall does happen, like Avandia over the weekend there, do
not
drug
a recall,
companies like
not a recall.
Not a recall. I'm sorry. Do drug companies have enough protection from legal lawsuits that pour in when any kind of drug recall actually happens?
We're constantly dealing with legal issues. I think these will continue. It's impossible for me to say, Mike, in a particular instance, what FDA action may or may not cause lawsuits to follow.
Mike?
Yeah, John, I wondered if you've had a chance to see the president's new health care reform proposal that he unveiled this morning. How onerous or not is it for the pharmaceutical industry?
Well, I've been in meetings here in New York all morning, so what I know are some bits and pieces that I've gotten from some of our folks. And certainly we're in favor of helping close the so-called donut hole in Medicare. I think it's bad policy. I think it's bad medicine. We want to work with the administration to help that happen. At the same time, we're concerned that apparently not included in this discussion or in what the President talked about today is a provision that would enable innovators for new biologic molecules to have data protection for a period of time that would enable them to take the risk to bring those new products to the market. This had broad bipartisan support in the last year. We don't see that currently being discussed. We're concerned about that.
Mr. Lechleiter, I wonder, continuing in this vein, earlier today, the President apparently announced that he wants to put effectively a kind of price control on health insurers that charge, in someone's view, a panel's view, too much or boost prices too much. Are you worried about creeping government intrusion into your area? That's question one. And question two is, are you concerned that all of the government policy making that's going on is causing you to delay things that you otherwise would like to do?
To answer your second question first, I think the sooner we can get a measure of certainty about what the policy environment is going to be going forward, all of our companies and the economy will benefit. I think in terms of our view of the government's role in health care, we've been very consistent, even as we've worked with Democrats and worked as Republicans. We want patients and physicians to continue to have choice for the best treatment for that patient. We want market-based mechanisms to put into play, and we desperately need intellectual property protection. Otherwise, no one would take the risk of investing in an industry like ours that has so much risk and timelines so long.
John, if I can turn you now to the philanthropic efforts of your company. When you talk about desperate need, there is a lot of that, unfortunately, right now around the globe, and the spotlight is on Haiti. And your company has been very aggressive in terms of providing a variety of resources to that particular part of the world. Tell us more about that.
Well, let me say a couple of things. First of all, we struck up a relationship with a group called Partners in Health in several years ago, and we were able to take advantage of that relationship with Dr. Paul Farmer to quickly understand what were the needs in Haiti. We reacted quickly. We have a system within the company. Within 24 or 36 hours, we knew what we wanted to do. We knew who to work with to help it happen. Our employees have been incredibly generous, giving nearly $250,000. The company matched that. On top of another $250,000, we've got $4 million worth of medicines down there right now helping people in that country. We're very proud of that effort.
As you should be. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us. We appreciate it.
Alrighty, up next, new credit card rules.